Coming up on Boyertown Live, see clips from the Citizen of the Year banquet honoring those who have given so much to our community. Humans and dogs walk the walk and bark the bark in Pottstown to raise money for cancer research.
And coming up next on Boyertown Live, Boyertown has a sunny weekend to relive its history and bring in the new season.
Z96 Radio on the internet, banging the hottest tracks on the charts right now. Broadcasting across the planet.
Feel you creeping, I can see it from my shadow. Wanna jump up in my Lamborghini Gallardo.
Anywhere you go, we go. Boyertown's hottest hit music station at Z96Radio.com.
Building a Better Boyertown organized several events to welcome in the spring in the past few weeks. An Earth Day celebration was held at the Boyertown Park, and free trees were given to local homeowners to plant in their yards in preparation for the new season. A free community yard sale was also stretched across the park. A new pathway in the inner core parking lot in Boyertown was dedicated to all of those who have helped improve the community. The pathway includes bricks with the names of the volunteers on them and new light poles that were donated to the project. A ceremony was held to recognize those who helped with the project.
By looking at our walkway here, you can picture what our Main Street could look like if we get all of our funding together from the state to make that happen. I'm not saying it can happen. I am saying it will happen.
Refreshments and some live singers kept the audience entertained in the warm spring weather. Several of the past mayors in Boyertown were recognized at a dedication at the Spots Memorial on South Reading Avenue. Present mayor of the town, Mayor Mary Ann Deary, introduced the past mayors that have all made history in their own way.
But it's my wish that you will take the time to ponder and reflect on where you're standing. On my right is the history of Boyertown's own 4-star General Carl A. Spots. Many of your ancestors are so noted on this historical walkway as well, and your ancestors voted for these Burgesses, and your ancestors carved the path for Boyertown.
That's not all that's been keeping everyone busy. Zach Reiner reports on a remembrance walk that relived the times of the Rhodes Opera House fire.
A town in disaster. At least that's what Boyertown was in January of 1908. The area will always be known for the Opera House disaster, the fire that ravaged a theater, killing 170 and leaving numerous others injured. Boyertown's Opera House Committee organized the Opera House Fire Remembrance Walk, which highlighted several of the key buildings and locations in the town at the time of the fire, such as the fire companies that responded to the blaze, the newspaper that reported on it, the churches that later held the funerals, and the Opera House owner's original home. These are just a few highlights of the 30 total locations on the historic tour. A host was at each location dressed in costume to describe the location and its relevance to the history of the fire.
There were 2 sets of funerals for them. The one was at 9 o'clock. 13 funerals were held at 9. Each one had its own hearse that came down here, and if you remember 1908, we're talking horse and buggy hearse, not a normal automobile hearse.
This gentleman's father was the editor from 1871 to 1884.
And this was actually the Keystone Firehouse, and then it later became the Borough Hall.
Along with these locations included the churches, St. John's Lutheran being the sponsor of the performance the very night of the fire.
Reverend Weber was burned horribly, face, neck, arms, and hands. He was not able, I think it's irony, you have 78 people in your church who just passed away on the same day, and you can't even perform a funeral.
The building where the Opera House once stood now houses several small shops in Boyertown, but it will never replace the 170 lives lost that night.
The reason so many were trapped inside was because the doors opened inward, wedging people inside the fiery inferno. This is one of the largest reasons that federal law now requires doors to open outward in all public places.
About 3 or 4 months after the fire, this building was one of the first ones to have its doors altered so that they opened outward.
The committee plans to have another walk after the summer on October 7th. Hopefully the weather will prove to be as fair as it was this time around. Zachary Reinert, Boyertown Live.
A A fire ripped through an East Philadelphia Avenue home, displacing 3 residents. The fire started on the 2nd floor, most likely an electrical fire near a computer desk. Although the building's main structure was not damaged, much of the floors will require extensive repair and remodeling. Some important people in our community were recognized at the Berksmont News Citizen of the Year banquet. 5 people were recognized.
I'm very flattered and very appreciative, and I also feel very privileged to be the one member of my other 560 classmates at the high school to receive this award tonight.
23 years, I've learned a lot. It ain't just firefighting, it's not putting out fires, not car rescues. You're also a teacher.
Thank you for the privilege of standing here tonight and accepting this Officer of the Year award. I'm just one of many police officers that strive to do the best job we can. I'm really proud to be a police officer, and I take pride in the work that I do.
Judy Schwank said there was something in the water in Boyertown, and it's not the water, it's the people. There's something in the people here. And just the fact that we have so many people here tonight to recognize all these people is just tremendous.
Words, of course, have always been very important to me throughout my life, especially words that express appreciation and love. An enthusiastic, "I love you, Mom," or "You guys rock," is like jet fuel to my soul, and I never get tired of kind words. Now, America's Poet Laureate, Maya Angelou, says people will forget what you say. People will forget what you do, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And folks, you gotta know, I will never forget how you all have made me feel over the past couple of weeks.
Congratulations to those who were presented with the award.
They may be 2 different species, but they were both walking and running the streets of Pottstown for the same cause. Pottstown's Relay for Life brought dogs of all breeds and people of all kinds to the center of town to raise money for the American Cancer Society.
We are a community that has taken up the fight. We have teams from Boyertown, from Chester County, from Pottstown. We have over 3,000 people involved with Relay for Life here locally. They work tirelessly all year long to raise money in the fight against cancer.
The dogs and their owners started the 1-mile walk at the Riverfront Park and traveled down the Schuylkill River Trail to the streets of Pottstown first, ending at a block party style event with music, giveaways, and stands about improving health and welfare in the community. Poor weather has been plaguing the relay for the last few years, but this year proved to be different. Runners of all ages ran the 5K trail under a beautiful sky and were cheered on at the finishing gate. The mayor of Pottstown addressed all those who attended.
This regional event continues to surpass its own expectations and showcase the Pottstown area as a community of focus, compassion, and giving.
Awards were also given to those who finished first in their age group.
And in 16-17, our overall winner, I think actually his prize is $100. Mike Rothermel. Michael?
This is the first relay to include pets and their owners, and the committee hopes to spread the idea across the country. One would think so many dogs in such close proximity would have caused problems, but it seemed as though they and their owners were there with one thing in mind: to help those in need. Zachary Reiner, WZAR Internet News.
Lindsay Spangler, the young woman diagnosed with a debilitating disease that the area has become to know, has been held back from going to Germany for treatment due to a variety of medical reasons. That did not discourage a community, and it certainly did not discourage the 6th grader Zachary Alex from continuing to raise money for her treatment. Zach and his mother, Lisa, worked together to create a talent show that featured students from the Boyertown School District.
Well, I decided to put other kids' talents to raise money for the show, and because I play guitar and I want to express my talents along with other people's talents so that they can be able to perform in front of a live audience with their talents.
There are many acts from singing to dancing to yo-yoing and even some stand-up comedy.
What has 18 legs and catches flies? What? A baseball team.
And what's the best part about this evening? All the proceeds went to benefit Lindsay Spangler. Way to go, Zach. Thanks for joining us at Boyertown Live. You can always keep updated with your local news at www.wzar.org. WZARTV.com. I'm Krista Strauss.